China exported a virus. The world got busy fighting it. And China is using this chance to grab territory. With most countries looking the other way, China is deploying warships and capturing islands. So what are the so-called global powers doing about this aggression? Precious little. Most of them have been muted or half-hearted in their criticism. Europe is even happy to have the Chinese edit their friendship letter. Europe lost lives to the Wuhan virus. Then it struggled with faulty Chinese supplies and hostile takeovers. Forget about standing up to the dragon. Europe is professing friendship. Thankfully, some countries still have a spine. It's the smaller nations which are challenging the mighty China. Vietnam, for instance. Vietnam is standing up to China. A report says that Vietnam is close to filing an international arbitration case, meaning they want to take China to court, settle the dispute over the South China Sea in an international court of law. Reports say a decision could be taken very soon. But why now? Because China's expansionism knows no bounds and China's opportunism knows no bounds. This is when countries are at their weakest, literally in the ICU thanks to the Wuhan virus. And what does China do? It has announced a fishing ban in the South China Sea till the month of August. Now, the fact is, this sea is disputed. It is not China's place to impose bans. Today, Vietnam rejected that decision, calling China's order unilateral. China has been at it, using its military to strengthen its claims over the waters and the islands in South China Sea. Vietnam is one of the 7 governments that lay similar claims. The others are Brunei, China, of course, Taiwan, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. And Vietnam is now standing up to China. It's not alone. Indonesia is doing the same. Another island nation. In the last few months, there's been growing tension between Jakarta and Beijing. Indonesian sailors have died in the Pacific. Reports said that they were mistreated and exploited by the Chinese. Chinese fishing vessels escorted by the Chinese Coast Guard ships repeatedly breach Indonesian borders near the Natuna Islands. Indonesia had enough and summoned the Chinese ambassador to demand an explanation. Then we have Taiwan, a region that has been denied independence and subjected to exclusion from world bodies thanks to China. Taiwan, too, is standing up to China. It is asking questions of the WHO. It is calling out Beijing's botched-up response to the pandemic. Remember, Taiwan alerted the WHO about human-to-human transmission way before China did, but the world body did not take notice of Taiwan's warnings under Chinese pressure. So here's the list: Vietnam, Indonesia, Taiwan. The David standing up to the Chinese Goliath. The world can learn a thing or two from them. The European Union, for instance, the world's largest trading bloc, bending to accommodate China. In their defense, they say they're bending, quote-unquote, reluctantly. First, they watered down a response on Chinese coronavirus disinformation. Then they allowed China to edit their letter.
And we regret that this op-ed, this joint op-ed, was not published in full by the China Daily. The full version of the op-ed has been published on the website of a delegation to China, and it has been also distributed to Chinese media outlets, some of which have in the meantime published it as well in full.
Not too far away from Brussels, even London is split over China. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson seemed to be in a bind. He has been facing constant pressure to take a stand against China. But so far, he's yet to back a global call for an investigation into the origins of the virus. The coronavirus outbreak has exposed the lack of leadership on the world stage. China is exploiting the situation. When the G20 summit happened, world leaders had a chance to call out China. They did not. Vietnam, Indonesia and Taiwan did. They have decided to call out the bully.